topic is all about complex numbers. In this video, I will define what is complex number, and I will teach you how to add, subtract, multiply, and of course how to divide complex numbers. I hope you'll enjoy this video. Thank you!
What is complex number? Complex number is a number that can be expressed in the form of a plus bi, where a and b are real numbers and I is the solution of the equation x squared is equal to -1. Because no real number satisfies this equation, I is called an imaginary number. For the complex number a plus bi, a is called the real number and b is called an imaginary number. The complex number system can be defined as the algebraic extension of the ordinary real numbers by an imaginary number I. This means the complex number can be added, subtracted, and multiplied as polynomials in the variable I with the rule I squared is equal to -1 imposed. Complex number is a combination of a real number and an imaginary number. For example, 1 plus I, the imaginary number is I, and the real number is 1. Next is 39 plus 3I, the imaginary number is 3, and the real number is 39. Next is 3 minus 2I, the imaginary number is 2, and the real number is 6. And these are the other examples of complex numbers. 3 plus 2I, the real number is 3, and the imaginary number is 2. Next is 5. The real number is 5, and the imaginary number is 0, because there is no imaginary number in this equation. It is called purely real. Next is -6I, the real number is 0, and the imaginary number is -6. It is called purely imaginary because there is no real number in the equation. Complex number is a combination of a real number and an imaginary number. For example, 1 plus I, the imaginary number is I, and the real number is 1. Next is 39 plus 3I, the imaginary number is 3, and the real number is 39. Next is 3 minus 2I, the imaginary number is 2, and the real number is 6. And these are the other examples of complex numbers. 3 plus 2I, the real number is 3, and the imaginary number is 2. Next is 5. The real number is 5, and the imaginary number is 0, because there is no imaginary number in this equation. It is called purely real. Next is 6I, the real number is 0, and the imaginary number is -6. It is called purely imaginary because there is no real number in the equation. How to add complex numbers? To add two complex numbers, we add each part separately. Add the real numbers and add the imaginary numbers. For example, 3 plus 2I plus 1 plus 7I. The real numbers are 3 and 1. The imaginary numbers are 2 and 7, so that 3 plus 1 plus 2 plus 7I, 3 plus 1 is equal to 4, plus 2 plus 7 is equal to 9i. So the answer is 4 plus 9i. Next example is 3 plus 5i plus 4 minus 3i. The real numbers are 3 and 4. The imaginary numbers are 5 and 3. So that 3 plus 4 plus 5 minus 3i 4 is equal to 7. 5 minus 2 is equal to 2. So the answer is 7 plus 2i. The third example is this. 3i minus 4 plus 2i plus 5 plus 9i. The real numbers are 4 and 5. The imaginary numbers are 3i, 2i, and 9i. So we distribute this negative this value. So 3i minus 4 minus 2i plus 5 plus 9i. Then we add the real numbers. Negative 4 plus 5 is equal to 1. Then 3i minus 2i is equal to 1 plus 9i is equal to 10i. So the answer is 1 plus 10i. How to subtract complex numbers? The same as how we add the complex numbers. We subtract the real numbers and the imaginary numbers. For example, 2 minus 3i minus 6 minus 18i. The real numbers are 2 and 6. The imaginary numbers are 3 and 18. First, we substitute this negative to this value. Then 2 minus 3i negative 6 plus negative times negative positive 18i. So that 2 minus 6 minus 3i plus 18i. 2 minus 6 is equal to negative 4. Negative 3i plus 18i is equal to positive 15i. So the answer is negative 4 plus 15i. The next example is 10 minus 7i minus 3 plus 4i. Then we substitute again this negative to this value. So that 10 minus 7i minus 3 minus 4i. Then we subtract the real numbers. 10 minus 3 and we subtract the imaginary numbers. Minus 7i minus 4i. 10 minus 3 is equal to 7. Negative 7i minus 4i is negative 11i. So the answer is 7 minus 11i. And that's it. How to multiply complex numbers? Just use FOIL method, which stands for first, outers, inners, and last. For example, 3 plus 2i times 1 plus 7i is equal to 3 times 1. This is the first, the FOIL method. Then the outers, 3 times 7i. Then the inners, 2i times 1, and the last, 2i times 7i is equal to 3. 2 times 1 equals 3. 3 times 7i is equal to 21i. 2i times 1 is equal to 2i plus 2i times 7i is equal to 14i squared. I squared is equal to negative 1. 3 plus 21i plus 2i minus 14, because positive 14 minus positive 14 times negative 1 is negative 14. So we add the real numbers and the imaginary numbers. We add first the real numbers. 3 plus negative 14 is negative 11 plus 21i plus 21i is equal to 23i. So the answer is negative 11 plus 23i. The next example is this. I and I times 5 plus I. We multiply this by the denominator, but the sign is opposite. For example, pi plus I times pi minus I. We call that complex conjugate. So I times pi is equal to 5i. I times I is equal to I squared, or negative 1. And by multiplying denominators, we should apply FOIL method. 5 times 5, 25. 5 times negative I is equal to 5 negative I. Positive I times 5 equals to 5 is equal to positive 5i. Then positive I times negative I is equal to negative I squared, or negative 1. Then 5i minus negative 1, because I squared is equal to negative 1. Then negative 5i plus 5i is equal to 0, so we will cancel this. Then 25 minus negative 1, because I squared is equal to negative 1. Then 5i minus negative 1, 5i plus 1, because 5i times negative positive 1. Then 25 minus negative 1 is equal to 26, because negative times negative positive. 25 plus 1 is equal to 26. Then 5i plus 1 over 26 is equal to 1 plus 5i over 26. We should apply the complex form that is a plus bi. So it should be I over 26 plus 5 over 26i. Then we have a real number and an imaginary number. And that's all. This is how we divide complex numbers. For example, 6 plus 1 divided by 7 minus 1. We will multiply this to the same denominator, but the sign is opposite, because, for example, 7 minus 1 times 7 plus 1. That's what we call complex conjugate. Then 6 times 7 is 42, 6 times 5 is 30, 3 times 7 is 21i, then 3i times 5i equals to negative 15. So 7 times 7, 49, 7 times 5 is 35i, 5i times 7 is negative 35i, 5i times 5i is positive 25. Then we will add the real numbers and the imaginary numbers again. 42 plus negative 15 is equal to 27, plus 30i plus 21i is equal to 51i. Then denominator, positive 35i minus 35i is equal to 0, so we will cancel it. Then 49 plus 25 equals to 74. Then we should apply the complex form, which is a plus bi is equal to, then 27 is equal to 74 plus 21 is equal to 74i. So we have real number and imaginary number. That's